Chair for running the meeting, and I'm sorry, colleagues, I'm not there, but I'm here virtually. So good to see.
Thank you. District 2, my name is Jeronimo Vasquez. I'm supervisor for District 2 and current vice chair and acting chair tonight. Thank you. District 3.
Good evening, everyone. Tammy Ontiveros, District 3.
District 4.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and being with us till 10 o'clock or so. But Judy B. Gay, District 4 Supervisor. I'm just thankful that, we're here tonight, and thank you, Geronimo, for running this meeting, and enjoy your vacation, District 1. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
It's beautiful here, I have to say. It's gorgeous.
District 5.
Vice Chair Vasquez, Supervisor Fowler has not joined virtually yet.
Okay, Supervisor Fowler will be joining us soon. Please, clerk, if you could let us know when she is joined so we can get it for the record. Thank you. All right, in that case, we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Could everybody please rise? All right, now next up, call to the public. We will now have call to the public to allow for any comments from the public. Please note that issues presented during call to the public that are not on the agenda cannot be acted on by the Board of Supervisors. For items not on the agenda, individual supervisors may ask questions of the public, but are prohibited by open meeting law from discussing or considering the item. Only the speaker who's being called upon is authorized to speak. To encourage and respect expression of all views, we ask there be no disruptions. Individuals are limited to 3 minutes for their comments. Clerk Daly will explain how the public can provide comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair Vasquez. At this time, if there's anyone here in the room that would like to provide comment, you can fill out a comment card on the table, or because we don't have very many people, you can make your way up to the podium. If you're here for a public hearing item, that will, you can speak during the public hearing item when the chair opens the public hearing item up for comment. Oh, and just a note, Supervisor Fowler has joined the meeting virtually.
Thank you.
If you're watching virtually via our YouTube live stream, you can send an email to board comments at coconino.az.gov, and that will appear in our inbox, which we can then notify the board of a comment that's come in from the YouTube stream. So again, if there's anyone here that would like to provide a comment at this time for a call to the public, you can make your way up to the podium, and we'll provide 3 minutes on the clock. And we just ask that you state your name and address for our minutes. At this time, Vice Chair Vasquez, it looks like we do not have anyone that wants to provide comment during call to the public, and we do not have any comments in our inbox.
Okay, let's give it 1 minute, or more like 30 seconds.
We do not have anyone that desires to speak.
Okay, final call for call to the public. Okay, in that case, we will move on to item number 1, consideration and possible action to approve a proclamation designating September 27th, 2025 as Public Lands Day. And I'll hand it over to our county manager.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, and I'm pleased to announce Cynthia Nemeth, our Parks and Recreation Director, to read this proclamation. Thank you, Cynthia.
Chair Vasquez, members of the board, thank you, County Manager Andy Bertelson.
Coconino County proclamation designating September 27, 2025 as National Public Lands Day. Whereas in celebration of National Public Lands Day on September 27, Coconino County honors our forests, high deserts, mountains, canyons, craters, mesas, valleys, meadows, trails, wetlands, and other irreplaceable resources, including sacred and cultural sites, as treasures to be safeguarded in public hands for generations to come. And whereas Coconino County is home to the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world, 5 national monuments, 5 national forests, and 2 of the most iconic and visited national park areas in the United States, Glen Canyon National Recreation Area and Grand Canyon National Park. And whereas this summer, the Dragon, Bravo, and White Sage fires ravaged national public lands, consuming more than 200,000 acres, closing roads, shuttering businesses, and devastating tourism destinations, thereby crippling our tourism-based economy and threatening the lives of thousands of residents. And whereas the Dragon Bravo fire destroyed or heavily damaged 106 structures, including the historic lodge at the north rim of the Grand Canyon and vital operational infrastructure, forcing the closure of the park's north entrance for the remainder of the season. And whereas Coconino County calls for a swift and comprehensive recovery response that prioritizes rebuilding the North Rim Lodge, visitor centers, and other critical infrastructure so that access to one of the 7 natural wonders of the world may be restored, sustaining local economies and ensuring public enjoyment. And whereas Coconino County manages 6 county parks, 2 natural areas, and actively monitors the health of our forests, which safeguard an abundance of natural, cultural, and historic resources. And whereas outdoor recreation, including hiking, mountain biking, running, snow skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, water skiing, boating, sailing, kayaking, paddleboarding, camping, fishing, bird watching, and stargazing enriches our quality of life by reducing stress, strengthening community connections, and promoting health and wellness. And whereas on September 27, all national parks will offer free admission, inviting people of all ages to experience the diverse wildlife, unique flora, and inspiring landscapes of America's public lands. And whereas on the 29th, the Peregrine Fund and the Bureau of Land Management will release captive-bred California condors at Vermilion Cliffs National Monument, symbolizing the triumph of conservation and the enduring spirit of our wildlands. And whereas National Public Lands Day is a call to action, reminding us to step outside, to volunteer, to restore, and to protect our public lands so they remain clean, peaceful, accessible, and forever in the hands of the public. Now, therefore, we do hereby designate September 27, 2025 as National Public Lands Day in Coconino County and urge all residents and visitors to honor, steward, and celebrate the incomparable public lands that define our home and our heritage.
Thank you for reading that statement and or proclamation. And now, may I have a motion to approve a proclamation designating September 27th, 2025 as Public Lands Day?
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion by Supervisor Horseman and a motion by Supervisor Horseman, a second by Supervisor Fowler. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you. All right, now we may have statements by the board. If we could start with District 1.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Supervisor.
we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. For some reason, it was frozen all of a sudden. So, and it's not that cold here. So, and yes, as I said, I'm very, very pleased and honored to be here on behalf of Coconino County with Western Interstate Region to discuss and to work together for the stewardship of our public lands. And as everybody knows, Coconino County is proudly a public lands county with premier outdoor recreational activities that not only enhance our quality of life for us living in Coconino County, but also provide an incredible amount of outdoor recreational opportunities and tourism. And we are so lucky to have 5 national forests, footprints of Grand Canyon National Monument, an important part and necessary to protect Grand Canyon National Park, one of the natural wonders of the world. So just so pleased that we're bringing this forward. And public lands need to remain in public lands so that we can, as the United States, maintain our heritage in our stewardship of these most beautiful places. So, so pleased to have this, so pleased to declare Public Lands Day, but really in Coconino County, every Public Lands Day. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Horseman. Next, District 3.
Thank you, Vice Chair Vasquez. I will just add to Chair Horseman's comments. I was listening as the proclamation was being read, and it just reminded me how very thankful I am to live where I live and to enjoy all of the things that we can each day. I try very hard not to take that for granted, and very much am in support of this proclamation.
Thank you. District 4.
Thank you. I just want to say that we're here to continue to plan for economic growth and also to ensure that, people are out there, have the recreational activities that are afforded to them. And certainly it does. And we really need to protect our public lands to really help everyone that's going to be using the scenery. I see Supervisor Fowler's picture there. You see all those colors in that mountain. We have that in Coal Mine Mesa too. So I just want to say thank you so much for bringing this before the board. And certainly we will have to be continuing to improve our public lands. Thank you.
Thank you. District 5.
Thank you. What a beautiful description of our county and the proclamation. Yes, we are so blessed to live in such a beautiful area, and public lands is surrounded by public lands, and yet it's under threat. And I just cannot believe how it could just be done away with, or there's proposals for it, and we have to be vigilant every single day to protect our public lands. Let's do what we can. As we learn from the fires that was described in the proclamation, even we've already known, but it was really brought out, and just how vital our public lands is to our economy. When the North Rim is an economic driver for our region, and when the lodge burned down and all the fires happen and the season is closed, then it really has just created such change within our economy. And now we have to really work together to have do a recovery plan. So I just think that we just have to continue, just like we all have taken a stand and taken a stand again, to protect our public lands. It is so important. And I invite everyone to come out on September 27th to the condor release at the Vermilion Cliffs, and you can see Vermilion Cliffs right behind me, just on the other side. That's where the condor release takes place, and it's just so beautiful that we can have, it protects our environment, our wildlife, and also for us to enjoy our land. So thank you so much. Appreciate this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and make my comments. Here in Coconino County, public lands are not just a part of our landscape, they're part of who we are. They sustain our environment, drive our economy, support our health, and deepen our connection to place. For many, including indigenous communities who have been stewards of this land for generations, these landscapes carry profound cultural and historical significance. They shape our identities and guide our shared future. Public lands are the backbone of our local economy. Tourism and outdoor recreation generate billions in economic activity each year, supporting local families, creating jobs, and keeping small businesses strong. They enrich our lives, strengthen our communities, and help Coconino County thrive. As a board, we've long recognized the vital importance of protecting public lands and ensuring equitable access for all. Today's proclamation reaffirms our ongoing commitment to that responsibility. I am proud to support this proclamation and deeply grateful to every individual and organization that continues to remind us of what's at stake. Together, we honor our heritage, safeguard our environment, support our economy, and ensure that public lands, our shared legacy, remain protected and accessible for generations to come. Thank you. All right. Now, next up, if we have to take a picture, I believe, before we move.
I can't hear Geronimo.
Was my mic not on? Sorry, I'll start over then. All matters under consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by a single motion. Are there any items that board members want to consider separately? No items. Supervisor Fowler.
Yes, I'd like to separate item number 22.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Supervisor Horseman.
I would, at this time, with the exception of item number 22, I'd make a motion to accept the consent agenda, items 2 through 21. And I have to apologize, I have my camera off because there seems to be, the internet here is not great. So I'd make a motion for all items except for 22.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Chair Horseman and a second by Supervisor Ontiveros. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, next up is item number 22. Consideration and possible action to approve a budget adjustment in fiscal year 2026 to continue the Arizona State Parks Project Sponsor Agreement number 782504, funding in the amount of $299,091.19 to purchase a submersible remotely operated vehicle, night vision equipment, and medical supplies to continue law enforcement and emergency service rescue boating program on Lake Powell. And so with that, I'll pass it over to Supervisor Fowler.
Thank you. I pulled this item really just for educational purpose. We have a program, the sheriff has a boat patrol in Lake Powell, and where boat patrol needs the necessary equipments to be able to do their work. And I thought maybe there's someone from the sheriff's office that might be able to speak to this to tell us more about it.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. Members of the boards, I don't see the sheriff here this evening, but yes, this is an Arizona State Parks Project sponsor agreement grant in the amount of nearly $300,000, and this is a submersible remote operated vehicle. It includes night vision equipment and medical supplies to continue law enforcement and emergency services rescue boating program on Lake Powell. We were actually just with the sheriff's office group this last week, and learned about this submersible remote operated vehicle, and it allows them to go to the further depths of Lake Powell. And those of us familiar with it know that Lake Powell can be hundreds of feet, and so this allows us for search and rescue opportunities too. It's lit, so and visibility with that lighting is such that it allows us to do searches. And we were actually more recently able to recover in a recovery situation in the last couple of weeks utilizing this equipment. So it just gives us that capability to provide that service as part of our larger operation on Lake Powell.
So, thank you, Andy. And I just want to add that they do work at night, and the night vision is really important for them to be able to see. And when there's a search and rescue that happens, these equipments they had to rent from other counties, and being able to have our sheriff's department have its own, it is going to be saving so much money, county dollars, and being able to use the equipment when they do search and rescues, and then just patrolling out there. So it's really important equipment, and I just want to provide that information. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I move, if there's no other comments, questions, I will move to approve item number 22.
Second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Fowler on item number 22. Do I have to read out the item, or is that already in the record? Okay, thank you. And we have a second by Supervisor Ontiveros. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Nay? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
next up, we need to resolve as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. May I have a motion to resolve as the Flood Control District Board of Directors? We have a motion by Supervisor Begay.
Second.
We have a second by Supervisor Ontiveros. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now we're looking at item number 23, consideration and possible action to award RFQ 2025-105 and approve an agreement between Natural Channel Design Engineering Incorporated and Coconino County Flood Control District for engineering services in support of pipeline fire flood area post-wildfire flood mitigation projects through September 9th, 2030. Are there any questions on these items, or may I get it?
I'd make a
I
motion to accept the consent agenda. Item
Yeah,
number
I
23.
Gosh, I'm looking at my
On 23?
agenda. I thought
Uh,
that we, oh, I apologize. I was a page ahead.
Not a problem. All right, may I have a motion to award the RFQ 2025-01 and approve an agreement between Natural Channel Design Incorporated and Coconino County Flood Control District for engineering services in support of pipeline fire flood area post-wildfire flood mitigation projects through September 9th, 2030. We have a
I'd make a
motion by
motion to accept
Supervisor.
yeah.
Thank you. We have a motion by Supervisor Horstman. Do I have a second? We have a second by Supervisor Begay. All those in favor, please indicate it by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And directors, not supervisors. I stand corrected. Okay, now we need to resolve as the Board of Supervisors. May I get a motion to resolve as the Board of Supervisors?
So move.
We have a motion by Supervisor or Director Ontiveros. Do I have a second? Second
Second.
by Director Begay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We are now the Board of Supervisors, and we must resolve into the Library District Board of Directors. May I
So
have a
moved.
motion?
So move.
We have a motion by Supervisor Ontiveros. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Supervisor Fowler.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We're now the Library District. We have a Library District consent agenda item. May I have a motion to approve the purchase of a custom bookmobile under Omnia Partners Contract 177718 from Farber Specialty Vehicles in an amount not to exceed $525,138.76.
So move.
We have a motion by Director Begay. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Director Ontiveros. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, next I need a motion to resolve as the Board of Supervisors.
So move.
We have a motion by Supervisor Ontiveros. Is there a second? Or by Director Ontiveros, excuse me. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. We have a motion by Director Ontiveros, a second by Director Horseman. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now, may I have a motion to resolve as the Health District Board of Directors?
So move.
We have a motion by Supervisor Ontiveros. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We are now looking at the Public Health District consent items. Are there any items that would like to be pulled? Otherwise, may I have a motion to approve the Health District consent agenda items 25 through 27.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Director Begay and a second by Director Ontiveros. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We need a motion to resolve as the Board of Supervisors.
So move.
We have a motion by Director Ontiveros. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Director Horseman. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, the next two items are public hearing items. And with that, we are looking at item number 28, public hearing and consideration and possible recommendation of approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control regarding an application number 354514 for a Series 012 restaurant liquor license for 2 bar, 3 cafe and saloon located at 5877 Loop Road, Flagstaff, Arizona, 86004. Agent Deanne Lynn Jordan. With that, I'll hand it over to Clerk Daly.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez, and good evening, Supervisors. I just want to note that Deanna, the agent, Deanna Jordan, is here tonight. So she's the new owner for 2 bar, 3 cafe and saloon. It has been boarded up for the last 4 years, but previously, when it was open, there was a liquor license there. And so when we did get the application from the state, We provided it to our various departments, including the Sheriff's Office, Risk Manager, Health Department, and Community Development Department. And I just want to note that Deanna is currently in the process of working with HHS on her food operator license as well. So that process is also underway for her. The Sheriff's Office went out and posted this public hearing notice for tonight at the location. It was posted for 20 days. We did not receive any comments or concerns regarding the liquor license application. And so this is before you tonight to offer a recommendation to the state based on your knowledge of the area where this establishment is. And again, the state issues the license, not the supervisors, but they do consider the supervisor's recommendation regarding the application. And if you have any questions, Deanna is here if you've got any questions for her.
Well, thank you. Would the applicant like to say a few words?
I was not prepared for this at all. My name's Deanna Jordan. We came across the property. It used to be a thriving establishment in the area, and everyone that we've run into is super, super excited that we are reopening. We want to make it really family friendly and just be a part of the community. My parents have had a house on Continental for decades, and we've been coming up here a very long time. I'm a military widow with triplets and trying to do something new and get on this venture, and I think it's going to be really successful. We're going to have a lot of fun. So we just want to invite everybody out to see it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we ready to open the public hearing?
We are.
Okay, the public hearing is open. We will now take comments. When you're called on to speak, please announce your name. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Please make sure that your comments are directed to the topic. Clerk Daly, please explain how those here in person can provide comment.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez. At this time, if there's anyone here in the room that would like to provide comment on this public hearing item for the liquor license, you can make your way up to the podium and you'll be provided 3 minutes to speak. If you're watching virtually on our Zoom or on our YouTube channel, you can email your comment to boardcomments@coconino.az.gov. We do not have anyone that is submitted into our inbox, according to Deputy Clerk Weber, and we do not have anyone here that's indicated they wanted to speak.
All right, second call for public comment. Okay, in that case, we will go ahead and close the hearing. The hearing is now closed. Board members, are there any questions? Supervisor Ontiveros.
No, I don't have any questions. I was just going to make a motion that we recommend approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control on this application.
All right, thank you. Do we need to read the full statement on the record, or is it already in there for the motion?
I think we're okay. It's on the agenda title. So we are addressing item number 28.
Okay, so we do have a motion by Supervisor Ontiveros on this item. We have a second by Supervisor Begay. All those in favor,
Mr.
please
Vice Chair,
indicate.
we have,
Yes, Supervisor Fowler.
Supervisor Horseman has her hand up.
Oh, thank you. I can't see from here that she has her hand up. Supervisor Horseman, did you have a comment?
Well, that's because I'm in California. It's hard to see all the way across to California. But anyway, you know, I know there's a motion and a second on here. I was going to make the second, but then since we have stopped, I would like to also wish great luck to 2 Bar 3 Cafe and Saloon, and excited to see it reopening as well. So all my best to you on that, and I look forward to seeing you out there.
All right, we have a motion on the floor and we have a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please say nay. Okay, motion passes unanimously. And with that, we do have a comment by Supervisor Ontiveros.
I also would like to join Chair Horseman's best wishes as you guys move forward on this.
Supervisor Begay.
Yes, thank you for the interest and, getting out there and getting it started again. I think it's very important that we hang on to things that have been there for a long time and carry it on. And so I just want to say yeah, so thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from board members at this time? Well, in that case, I would just give you my congratulations and look forward to seeing your venture once it's opened up and check out the family-friendly activities and events. Thank you. All right, next item is an appeal hearing for PZC-24-0097, Respondent Church of the Common Good.
Sorry, Chair Vasquez. We have to do item 29.
Sorry, I forgot there's 2 liquor licenses tonight. I got confused on the script for the liquor license. Apologize for that. All right, in that case, we're at a public hearing, consideration and possible action to recommend approval to Arizona Department of Liquor
Wait.
Licenses
It's
and Control regarding a new application number 353788 for a Series 010 beer and wine store for Grand Canyon KOA located at 5333 North Highway 64, Williams, Arizona, 86046. Agent Catherine Ann Massen. And with that, I'll hand it over to our clerk of the board.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez. I want to note that Agent Kathy Masson is here tonight, so if you have any questions regarding the application, she's here to answer them. This is a Series 10 beer and wine store for the Grand Canyon KOA, located at 5333 North Highway 64 in Williams. And I also spoke to the general manager, Mike Atkinson, as well. As you know, since it's a KOA, the majority of sales goes to the customers of the KOA at this location. This has had a liquor license at the location previously, so it is under new ownership, and that's why we're here today for this liquor license application. It was sent to all of our departments, sheriff, risk manager, community development, and health and human services, and they do not have any concerns regarding this application. It was also posted at the location by our sheriff's department and posted for 20 days with the notice of this hearing tonight, and we did not receive any comments or concerns regarding the application. So with that, the state is looking for a recommendation by the board on the application with your knowledge of the area, and they would then issue the license from the state. Thank you.
Thank you. If the applicant is present, would she like to address the board? Okay. All right. Thank you. In that case, we'll move on to item number 3 of the hearing, which is public hearing is now open. We will now take comments. When you're called upon to speak, please announce your name. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Please make sure that your comments are directed to the topic. Clerk Daly, please explain how those here in person can provide comment.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez. At this time, if there's anyone here in person that would like to provide a comment on this public hearing item regarding the liquor license application for item number 29, you can make your way up to the podium and we will provide 3 minutes on our clock for you to speak. If you're watching from the YouTube channel, you can email us at boardcomments@coconino.az.gov, and that will appear in our inbox, which we can then provide to the board. Looks like we do not have anyone here coming up to the podium, and we do not have any comments in our inbox at this time.
All right, last call. Give it one more chance, 30 seconds, see if we get anything emerging.
There's nothing in our inbox, Chair.
All right, thank you. In that case, the hearing is now closed. Board members, are there any questions? In that case, may I have a motion to recommend approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control regarding a new application number 353788 for a Series 010 beer and wine store for Grand Canyon KOA located at 5333 North Highway 64, Williams, Arizona 86046. Agent Catherine Ann Musson. Sorry, I hope I said that right.
Vice Chair Vasquez, this is in my district and I am very familiar with this area. So I would like to make a motion.
Thank you. We have a motion by Supervisor Ontiveros. Do we have a second? We have a second by Supervisor Begay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Now the next item is an appeal hearing for PZC 24-0097, Respondent Church of Common Good. Question before we get started, do we need a break at all? Okay, just checking. All right, in that case, we are now on item 30, a code enforcement appeal hearing, matter PZ 24-0097. It is now 7:44. This code enforcement matter was heard by the county's hearing officer, Howard Brown. Mr. Brown made findings of fact and conclusions of law and determined that the property owner, Church of the Common Good, was responsible for certain zoning violations, provided the owner 30 days to remedy the violations, and set out sanctions if the violation was not remediated by the deadline. Property owner, Church of the Common Good, has appealed this decision to the board according to the procedural rules contained in Chapter 5 of the Coconino County Zoning Ordinance. I would like to recognize the parties. Would the parties for the Church of the Common Good please announce themselves?
Can you hear me? This is Pastor Andrew Stevens.
Yes, we can. Thank you. Let's see.
I have another board member here, Virginia Van Zant. She's here watching. I don't think she understands how to speak. She doesn't understand how to speak.
Mr. Chair, we will bring her in.
We'll get to that point. We're still not quite there yet. But thank you. Next week, Mark Stento will appear on behalf of Coconino County Development Board. Okay, yeah, the board has received and had the opportunity to review the record in the case, as well as the memoranda timely submitted by the parties. At this time, I will advise that each party will have 10 minutes to present their position. This amount of time has been communicated to the parties in advance. Parties are reminded to keep their statements focused on the hearing officer's decision and the evidence that was presented to the hearing officer. Any evidence that was not presented to the hearing officer will not be considered. The board will hear from both parties on this matter. This will conclude any opportunity for input from the parties or the public. Following both parties' presentations, the board will deliberate amongst ourselves, but no further input or comments from the parties or public is allowed. At this time, I call upon Rose Winkler, attorney to the Board of Supervisors, to explain the legal standards of this hearing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Vasquez. I just want to start and make clear prior to the parties presenting their positions what the board's standard of review is in a matter, in this matter. This is a standard of review that is very different from what you may be used to in conditional use permit appeals and other items that come up from planning and zoning. The standard of review, the term is an abuse of discretion. So the board is making the determination as to whether the hearing officer abused his discretion in making his decision. It can help to understand what this means by considering what it does not mean. It does not mean that the board is hearing evidence and considering all that evidence on its own. The board is not substituting its judgment in place of the hearing officer. Excuse me. Instead, the board is reviewing the record. That includes the evidence that was presented to the hearing officer, the decision of the hearing officer, and the statements that the parties will make tonight. And then decides whether the substance of the evidence supports the hearing officer's decision. It's certainly possible that a different conclusion could have been made as a result of the evidence. If two opinions can come from that evidence, that is not an abuse of discretion. An abuse of discretion occurs when there is no substantial evidence to support the hearing officer's decision.
Thank you, Counselor. It is now time to hear from the parties. Parties will make their presentation to the board at the podium or virtually. Each party has 10 minutes. The lights at the top of the podium communicate time remaining. The speaker will have 30 seconds remaining. The clerk will announce 30 seconds. At 10 minutes, the red light will go on. Parties will cease their presentation at 10 minutes. Your time begins after I have called upon you and you begin your presentation. The Church of the Common Good, as appellant, will present first. So your 10 minutes have begun.
Yes, Board of Supervisors. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. My name is Pastor Andrew Stevens, and I represent the Church of Common Good. Thank you for the opportunity to present my appeal today. In July of 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, our church purchased a property under a land contract sight unseen. Because government buildings were closed at that time, we were prevented from obtaining a pre-site inspection or applying for any conditional use permit as we normally would when we buy a property. The deed was formally transferred into the church's name on April 1st of this year. By that time, however, code enforcement had already issued violations, effectively blocking us from pursuing the very permits we would have sought had the county been open in 2020. The initial evidence used against us was gathered before the church ever owned the property, during a welfare check unrelated to our ministry. Inspections have since been conducted without warrants or permission, amounting to trespass. The case against us rests on facts that misrepresent the church's actual stewardship and religious use of the property. Our parcel is zoned general use, the least restrictive zoning in Coconino County. General use allows for agricultural, residential, and other mixed uses. The retreat lies 6 miles down a dirt road, far from neighbors or businesses. Even the county's own enforcement officer, Mark Stento, admitted that general use zoning was the best available and that the retreat is indistinguishable in character from a campground or RV park, both of which are permitted uses. Congress enacted the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, or RLUPA, to prevent exactly this scenario, where government land use regulations substantially burden the free exercise of religion. Courts across the country have consistently ruled that churches cannot be excluded from land simply because of zoning restrictions. In Hume versus Planning Board of Monterey, the court protected a Christian camp against unjust zoning limits. In Elder versus City of Pueblo, the Christian Growth Center prevailed against municipal efforts to suppress their ministry. And in Church of the Rock versus Castle Rock, Colorado, courts again upheld the principle that zoning rules must yield when unlawfully burden religious practices. These cases affirm that unless the government can show a compelling interest pursued by the least restrictive means, restrictions that prevent a church from carrying out its mission cannot stand. Our retreat serves a very specific religious mission. 13 board members, all discipleship participants, follow Christ's commandment from Matthew 10. Take no gold, no silver, no copper, nor bags for your journey, nor even 2 tunics, or sandals, nor even a staff. Then they leave their possessions behind while traveling 9 months of the year for missionary work. The retreat provides them a modest sanctuary to store what they cannot carry and a place to return to for restoration. Guests may stay up for up to 14 days in line with federal dispersed camping guidelines, as seen on BLM land. Plus, ones of our board members may remain longer if they assist in the ministry. This is not a permanent residential subdivision. It is a religious retreat functioning as a sanctuary of discipleship and hospitality. We are also commanded by Christ in the parable of the Good Shepherd that what we do for the least of these, we do for him. Our ministry serves nomadic individuals, people who would otherwise have no safe or lawful place to rest in Coconino County, at least in Flagstaff, due to ordinances effectively criminalizing vehicle dwelling. The retreat fills that gap, offering dignity, safety, and spiritual care. In conversations, county staff suggested that in order to obtain a conditional use permit, the church would need to make a large economic investment as well as abate the property. And this investment would be in infrastructure. That infrastructure would significantly diminish the natural and spiritual character of the retreat. For us, this is not merely a financial matter. Our doctrine teaches us to avoid usury and unnecessary debt. And more importantly, we believe that the retreat's religious and natural aspects are integral to our ministry. Imposing costly infrastructure demands transforms a place of simplicity, discipleship, and spiritual refuge into a commercialized facility that is incompatible with our religious ministry and constitutes a substantial burden under our LUPA. Our retreat is not a health or safety risk. We have implemented proactive measures that exceed county expectations when it comes to RV living. Board members on RVs here are mandated to be modified and comply with ADEQ standards, including composting toilets and separate reservoirs for kitchen black water and shower sink gray water. We are installing a large composting system to serve guests without compliant toilets, and Winslow is only 6 miles down our one dirt road. And they have potable water and black water transfer stations right in town. During the winter, when irrigation is not possible, gray water is safely stored in reservoirs. These systems protect both public health and the environment. The county has presented no evidence of contamination, no complaints from civilians, or harm to neighbors. Instead, the objections rest primarily on aesthetics. And aesthetics, as the courts have ruled, are not a compelling interest under our LUPA. Neither are tax burdens or property value. By prohibiting us from allowing temporary RVs or guest dwellings on our own property, the county is directly preventing us from carrying out our religious mission. Our ministry cannot function without the ability for board members, traveling missionaries, and guests to dwell temporarily in simple mobile shelters. Without this allowance, we are effectively shut down. That is the very definition of substantial burden under federal law. Members of the board, this is not merely a land use dispute. This is a matter of religious liberty. The Church of Common Good is not seeking special privileges, only equal treatment under the law, consistent with our LUPA and with the principles of justice this nation holds dear. Our ministry exists to serve, uplift, and obey God's word. Denying this appeal would not only impose a substantial burden on our exercise of faith, but it would also set a troubling precedent for how religious ministries are treated in Coconino County. For these reasons, I respectfully urge you to overturn the hearing officer's decision, allow our ministry to continue, affirm that religious freedom and equal protection still matter in this county, and allow us to seek our conditional use permit as we would have in 2020 had the government been open. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm done.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Cento of the Coconino Community Development Party will present.
I can't hear him.
It is now. Good evening, Vice Chair, members of the board. My name is Mark Stento. I'm the Compliance Manager for Coconino County Community Development. I'm here this evening to address the appeal of case PZC 240097 for 47775 BNSF-RR Road. This case is straightforward. It involves unpermitted RV dwellings and outdoor storage of refuse and operable vehicles and secondhand materials on a G-zoned residential parcel in Coconino County. Both occupancy of an RV and outdoor storage are, of course, regulated by the county zoning ordinance. The hearing officer carefully reviewed the evidence, made credibility determinations, applied the law, including the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, or RLUPA, and entered a reasoned order. That decision should be affirmed this evening. Here are the facts. Inspections over 8 months, which were initiated after a report from the Coconino County Sheriff's Office alleging unsafe conditions, documented the same violations repeatedly. Photographs, exhibits, and firsthand testimony confirm the presence of occupied RVs, trailers, and makeshift structures used as dwellings. Statements from RV occupants who alleged association with respondent, as well as admissions from Mr. Stevens, established that people were and are staying on the property overnight, often continuously. JMC Land, owner of the property prior to transfer to respondent, acknowledged respondent was under contract to buy and use the land at the time of initial complaint and investigation. The county zoning ordinance defines an alleged violator as a person, natural or corporate, responsible for a property which the zoning inspector or code enforcement officer has reason to believe a violation of the zoning ordinance exists, including but not limited to the owner or tenant for the subject property. Photographs also show unscreened storage of construction debris, such as railroad ties, refuse, tires, and inoperable vehicles. While some cleanup has occurred, violations persisted as of the July 10 hearing. Community Development provided multiple notices and opportunities to correct these violations before bringing the matter to a hearing. After testifying to these facts at hearing, supported by the exhibits on the record, the hearing officer found my testimony credible. However, he found that Mr. Stevens, who testified on behalf of respondent, provided contrary testimony when he stated that the vehicles were operable and no one was living on the property. The hearing officer found this to be implausible in light of the evidence. Moving on to the legal framework of the case, under Arizona law and the Coconino County zoning ordinance, on appeal of a code enforcement case, the board reviews decisions of the hearing officer for abuse of discretion, error of law, or lack of substantial evidence. None of those apply here. The order is fully supported by the record. The violations are clear. Coconino County zoning ordinance sections 317C and 317D prohibit the use of one or more RVs or travel trailers used as a dwelling in a G-zone parcel without proper permitting. By Mr. Stevens' own admission on the record, people may stay on the subject property for up to 2 weeks or overnight, and at least one person may stay on the property every night. No lawful dwellings nor a permitted recreational vehicle in which habitation may lawfully occur have been documented on the property. Sections 47C1A and 47C1B of the zoning ordinance prohibit outdoor storage of refuse, inoperable or unregistered vehicles, and secondhand materials. Exhibits included in the record clearly show outdoor storage of these items on the property prior to the July 10 hearing. As demonstrated in the record, respondent is in violation of both provisions of the zoning ordinance. However, despite their claims to the contrary, respondent has not been cited for or denied a permit to operate a campground or a religious retreat. Respondent has also alleged applicability of cases including Hume Christian Camp v. Planning Board of Monterey, Church of the Rock v. Castle Rock, and Elder v. City of Pueblo, as well as the Massachusetts Dover Amendment. These are not relevant to this administrative appeal hearing for land use violations in Arizona because they involve out-of-state and out-of-circuit law that is not binding in Arizona or the Ninth Circuit. Additionally, both the Church of the Rock and Elder cases settled out of court. The district court never made a final ruling in either case. Hume Christian Camp arises under Massachusetts law and addresses issues of religious land use or zoning interpretation not applicable to Arizona's statutory scheme or the specific enforcement of county zoning ordinances. The respondent relies on RLUIPA, but RLUIPA does not create a blanket exemption from zoning laws. Courts across the country have been clear religious entities must comply with neutral, generally applicable zoning requirements. For example, in Civil Liberties for Urban Believers v. Chicago, specifically referenced in Mr. Brown's order, the Seventh Circuit held that land use regulations of general applicability that do not effectively prevent religious exercise do not impose a substantial burden under RLUIPA. So I'd like to make 3 points. 1, there is no substantial burden. The order does not prohibit worship, baptism, or ministry. It requires only that occupancy of an RV be properly permitted and that outdoor storage be removed. Respondent can minister freely while complying with these neutral requirements. Even if there were a burden, the requirements serve compelling government interests protecting health, safety, welfare, and environmental quality. Enforcing basic zoning is the least restrictive means of achieving these interests. Equal treatment has occurred. Community development applies the same rules to religious and non-religious property owners alike, and there is no evidence of discrimination or unequal enforcement in this case. Respondent has cited Colorado cases involving churches hosting the homeless. Those cases are factually and legally distinct. They involved specific findings of arbitrary exclusion or direct restrictions on ministry. Here, by contrast, respondent may gather, worship, and minister without interference. They simply must comply with the same zoning rules as every other landowner in a G-zone property. Finally, the order itself is measured and reasonable. At the request of community development during the administrative hearing, respondent was given until August 13, 30 days to comply. I'd like to reiterate that we asked to give them more time at the initial hearing. In the event of noncompliance, potential civil sanctions were modest, $20 per violation per day, capped at $1,500, and have not even been applied as respondent's appeal of the hearing officer's order occurred prior to the scheduled recall hearing. So again, no fines have been applied. The intent of the hearing officer's order and community development's administrative action is corrective. We are trying to gain compliance. It's not punitive. Summarizing, substantial evidence supports the findings. The zoning ordinance was applied lawfully and neutrally. Our LUPA does not shield respondent from compliance, and the order is reasonable and proportional. So members of the board, this case is not about religion. The county zoning rules apply equally to all property owners, regardless of their purpose, to ensure public health, welfare, and safety. The record shows clear ongoing violations. The order gives the respondent every opportunity to comply, and nothing in the order prevents them from worshiping or ministering. For those reasons, we respectfully ask that you affirm the hearing officer's decision. Thank you.
Thank you. We have now heard from the parties. I will turn it again to Attorney Winkler to lay out the process for our deliberations.
Thank you, Vice Chair Vasquez. Now that the parties have completed their statements, the board moves on to deliberation. I just want to note, as I believe Vice Chair Vasquez, you already stated, that deliberation is only among the board members and will not involve any further statements from the parties or any questions posed to the parties. Though I also then want to address how a board member should frame their motion when they are ready to make one. The motion, the first decision for the board, is regarding whether the hearing officer abused his discretion in making his decision in this matter. So the initial motion by any board member will be either a motion to hold that the hearing officer did not abuse his discretion, or a motion to hold that the hearing officer did abuse his discretion. If that motion is seconded, the chair can then call for a vote or hold any discussion prior to vote. If a majority of the board approves a motion to hold that the hearing officer did not abuse his discretion, then that is the completion and resolution of the appeal, and no more action from the board is necessary. If a majority of the board approves a motion to hold that the hearing officer did abuse his discretion, then according to the zoning ordinance, the board must make an additional decision, again, through the motion process. I can certainly go into that detail now, Vice Chair Vasquez, or I can hold off until if and when the board gets to that point.
Let's go ahead and hold off and begin with deliberations among board members. Are there any comments from board members at this time? Supervisor Ontiveros.
Thank you, Vice Chair Vasquez. I want to state for the record that I have read all the documents submitted for the Code Enforcement Appeal hearing for PZC 240097 as set forth in the table of contents in the board agenda packet dated September 23rd, 2025. I have heard and considered the testimony presented this evening by both parties, and I would like to make a motion to find that the hearing officer did not abuse his discretion.
Okay, we do have a motion. Are there any?
Chair
Go ahead.
Horseman has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chair Horseman, please. Chair Horseman would like to second that motion. Are there any other comments by board members? Okay, in that case. Sorry.
I would like to make a comment, please.
Chair Horseman.
Just also for the record, I think this is important. I also have taken a look at the full record. I take a look at our standard of review, and this is a limited review for abuse of discretion, for error of law, or lack of substantial evidence. And so, like my colleague, Supervisor Ontiveros, I reviewed the full record, all the exhibits, the photos, the hearing itself. I listened to that about 90 minutes. Took a look at the decision, also the appeal statements from the appellant and Stevens, and also from Mark Stento. And after reviewing all of it and taking a look at our standard of review, I cannot find any type of abuse of discretion. And I do find that there is substantial evidence to withhold the decision of the hearing officer on this case. So it leaves one last area for us to review, and that whether there's been an area or an error of law. And taking a look at the materials presented, the cases presented, the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Person Act, I agree with the comments that have been made. Looking at this and looking at the cases, I do not see, though I certainly recognized Pastor Stevens and his exercise, their religion. I do not find that their religious exercise is substantially burdened by the zoning that is the zoning ordinance and by the zoning requirements. I also find that this zoning ordinance and its requirement are for and serve a compelling government interest. I find that this compelling governmental interest is being done area. And so I do not find that there has been any violation or error of law. And that's why I made my second to Supervisor Entreveris' motion. And I, for the record, wanted to state the reasons I am made my second.
Thank you, Chair Horstman. Are there any other comments from board members before we move forward? Supervisor Begay.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say that, the Coconino County has zoning ordinances, policies, procedures that we do things within the county, and everyone is held to all the standards, and as far as making sure that they're adhering to these, especially in this case, the zoning ordinance. So I also feel that, that the hearing officer, made the right decision, and I do support my colleagues' motion and a second with this particular topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Fowler, any comments?
Thank you. We did receive all the information that was necessary for us to review and the video. And so I did as well, to do our due diligence in learning about the case. And so I do also support I don't believe that the hearing officer made any violations.
Thank you. And then my comments as well, having reviewed the evidence and taken the time to look at all the different pieces and looking at really why we're here today, which is, did the hearing officer abuse their discretion in making this decision based on the evidence and the logical flow of the arguments that have been made? I believe that the hearing officer did not abuse their discretion, and so I am in support of this motion. So with that said, we have a motion on the floor. Do I need to read it out again, or are we good just with the motion?
I believe the motion's been made, and I think it's clear on the record what the motion is.
Okay, in that case, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Please indicate by saying nay. Okay, make sure I get the language right on here. The motion passes unanimously. This concludes the action on code enforcement matter PZ 240097. The hearing officer's decision is affirmed. We will now move on to item number 31. Thank you. Item number 31, public hearing, consideration, and possible adoption of resolution 2025-53, approving a preliminary plat for a 38-lot subdivision on 334.89 acres located 1.5 miles northeast of Norman Lake. The property is located east of Lake Mary Road and is further identified as parcel numbers 404-18-004, 404-18-003A, 404-18-003B, and 404-18-002B. The property owner is Bass LLC and HML LLC of Phoenix. The applicant is Thomas Lampo of Norris Designs, Tucson. And with that, I will hand it over to our Deputy Director of Community Development, Jess McNeely.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez or Vice Chair Vasquez and supervisors. So certainly for the record, Jess McNeely with Community Development Department staff. And thank you for the introduction to this case, Vice Chair Vasquez. This is a vicinity map, as you identified the location to the east of Lake Mary Road. It's about 1.5 miles east of Lake Mary Road, as you can see in the image here. And I think I can get the pointer to work. This is Lake Mary Road right here, and is just a little bit to the northeast of Mormon Lake and some of the community that surrounds Mormon Lake. When we zoom in a little bit with an aerial photograph, you see the 335 acres of the subject property broken into these 4 parcels are primarily meadow. And you see most notably that they are completely surrounded to the north, east, and west by national forest lands. So the proposed development is a 38-lot subdivision on 335 acres. Almost 2/3 of the property, 202 acres, is protected as open space as a part of the subdivision. The subdivision would have primary and emergency access provided by Forest Service roads. However, all internal roads would be privately maintained. Utilities planned for the subdivision are APS Electricity, which is already to the site. This would be a hauled water subdivision. They will not have a community water system. And all the lots in the subdivision will have on-site wastewater systems, AKA septic systems. And for fire and emergency services, this subdivision will annex into the established Mormon Lake Fire District for fire service. This is an image of some of the historic buildings, ranch buildings on the property. This was a working ranch for many years. Bless you. And this is an image of open space on the north side of the property. It has a great view of the San Francisco peaks right there in the background. And this would be the current main entrance to the subdivision that will continue to be used by Forest Service access. And this is a proposed image submitted by the applicants of what the entry signage will look like at the Diablo Canyon subdivision. So open space is certainly the main feature of this subdivision. Almost 2/3 of the landmass would be dedicated in open space. It's proposed within the large meadow on the east side of the property, which is, of course, prone to flood, like most meadows are in our region. And that area, of course, would be unsuitable for residential lots. This open space would protect water features, both the large meadow and several stock tanks that have historically been used for ranching on the property, which wildlife continues to use. And the meadow and the water features really work together to create a natural drainage system for the subdivision. So there are large trees and rock outcroppings on the property as well. Those are identified as environmentally sensitive features in our subdivision ordinance. And those would be protected by building envelopes on the lots and by the road design. There are planned trails within the open space, and the trails in open space would be accessible by the public. This is a color image of the subdivision, and this image really highlights how the drainage features work within the subdivision. You see the yellow circles along the eastern portion of the subdivision. Those are the home sites in the 38 clustered lots, as we would define or describe this type of subdivision. And you see where the open space is a potential ponding area, and there is FEMA flood hazard zone to the southeast of the property. And you can see the blue dots labeled by pond. Those are the existing ponds on the property. Wildlife knows where these ponds are, and those will stay in existence, protected by open space planned with the subdivision, and will continue to function with the entire really drainage of the subdivision into that large open space meadow. This is another image of the subdivision. This one's a little easier to see where the 38 lots are clustered along the eastern edge of the subdivision. And you can see that large green open space and a trail that goes around the open space. That would be the trail and the open space feature that is open to the public. There's another historic ranch building on the property. And this would be an image of one of those ponds. This was a dry portion of the summer. Actually, it hasn't been a great summer for these ponds, but you can see these do retain a little bit of water, and these were dug, obviously, historically by ranchers for surface water catchment for their livestock, and now the wildlife as well to use for drinking. So also a key consideration of the subdivision is wildlife protection. The applicant worked with Arizona Game and Fish, and Arizona Game and Fish had 3 recommendations: to consider wildlife needs during construction, to minimize introduction of invasive species, and that is consistent with the landscaping section of our zoning ordinance, and use wildlife-friendly fencing. This is an important bird area for pinyon jays. However, there are no recognized wildlife movement corridors, designated movement corridors on the property, but we know wildlife is frequent in this property. Fencing is not proposed in the open space, and any new fencing would be required to be wildlife friendly, and fencing on individual lots would have to meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance. So this subdivision did not ask for a zone change. They are not asking for a change from the G zone, but however, they get a density bonus and lot size reduction through the incentives of the subdivision ordinance. There's a 75% lot size reduction when lots are clustered, as we've seen, and when additional open space is provided. So this allows lots to go as small as 2.5 acres in the general zone. So those lots you were seeing on the images of the subdivision go down to the smallest ones being 2.5 acres. And the applicant received a density bonus with their design. They did additional open space. Almost 2/3 of this subdivision is designated as open space. They are doing privately maintained roads that are internal to the development. Those 2 items added together give a 15% density bonus or 5 additional lots. So where this property would have been entitled to 33 lots in the G zone, without a zone change, they are able to get 38 lots through the cluster conservation incentives of the subdivision ordinance. Just so you remember, since we're in the process of updating our county comprehensive plan, I would point out that the 2015 comprehensive plan made a real highlight of this cluster conservation design, and it's great to see somebody taking advantage of it and protecting this much open space with use of those incentives. So the comprehensive plan certainly supports the integrated conservation design. That's kind of the broader description of cluster conservation subdivisions. The comprehensive plan also supports open space and trails, wildlife conservation, and ensuring we have emergency services and emergency access. This subdivision is within the Diablo Canyon Rural Planning Area, and that plan also supports clustering to prevent fragmented development patterns. That plan supports adequate facilities and infrastructure in residential developments, and that plan supports waivers from typical requirements such as paved access to achieve ranch appropriate design. So in the staff's analysis and followed up with the Planning and Zoning Commission hearings recommendation, we all find that this request is consistent with the comp plan and the area plan and meets the findings of fact to approve a subdivision as laid out by the subdivision ordinance. The commission also found that this is an appropriate location for this subdivision, and it provides utilities, infrastructure, and emergency services as necessary. It provides open space, as we've seen, and protection of environmentally sensitive features and wildlife. It provides an integrated conservation design and prevents a fragmented development pattern. And we would point out that this provides greater environmental protection and better infrastructure than doing lot split development, which would be permitted by right without going through this process. These are the 5 findings for a preliminary plat, and the Planning and Zoning Commission was able to make these 5 findings in their unanimous recommendation. The applicant met their citizen participation requirements. They held a meeting, I believe, back in January. There was a notification area of 1 mile surrounding this property. They had 6 people attend. There were some concerns listed here, and all of these issues were addressed by the applicant at the meeting. And staff has received 13 letters of support for this subdivision. And with that, the Planning and Zoning Commission forwards a unanimous recommendation that the board approve this request with the recommended conditions. That can be done through Resolution 2025-53, which is in your packet. And of course, this is approval of a subdivision preliminary plat. A final plat would come back to the board for approval and is required to be in substantial conformance with the approved preliminary plat. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I will point out that we have the applicant's representative with us who can answer questions as well and give their presentation.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions by supervisors at this time? Anybody online? Hands up. No? Oh, Supervisor Horseman.
And it's not as much of a question per se. I think I really appreciate the very thorough review that was just done by Jess and our staff and the materials that were provided to us. This is the first time that I have been involved in a cluster conservation subdivision. I think it's really interesting. I'm really pleased to see that basically what this does, it has basically a conservation design. It preserves open spaces. I think the staff analysis on it for preserving environmentally significant features and wildlife. I think it's a very, very interesting concept. And I'm very, very glad to see this coming forward to us. And I hope we see more of this moving forward. I think this is a wonderful way to proceed with a development, especially over such a large amount of acres, 335 acres. It's really marvelous.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from board members at this time?
Yes, I'd like to make a
Supervisor Fowler.
Yes, thank you. And in a rural place, I'm really pleased to see, I too agree with what Supervisor or Chair Horseman just pointed out, but it's in a rural community, in a rural location, it's really good to see that the fire department supports it, and it will also be able to help the fire department as well. And also the water hauling, I thought that was pretty interesting, and how it provides that people are going to have to be hauling water as well. So I think this is a very interesting plan, just how it's open space, and it just really preserves the land and the wildlife and all the considerations for the environment. So I support this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments by board members at this time? Supervisor Begay.
Just want to say that, I'm fully supporting this also. As you know, it was conveyed to us, what the benefits are going to be, and how more land is going to be preserved, and for the others, and have open spaces, what I'm trying to say. So I just want to say I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Ontiveros.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I'm going to withhold my comments until after the applicant's presentation.
All right, thank you. And then my comments would just be that, again, I would like to reiterate what my colleagues mentioned just about this way of conserving such a beautiful meadow space by doing clustering development or clustered development. I've heard about it in the past, but I haven't seen any communities to date embrace it. So this is kind of exciting to see this form of development that has conservation built into it. And so I just wanted to make that comment. And with that, I would like to ask if the applicant or the applicant's representative would like to say a few words.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board, supervisors. My name is Thomas Lampo. I am an agent for the applicant. The landowners are right behind me, Chris Walden and Mark Reed. I actually don't have a presentation. We are in agreement with staff's recommendations and the conditions for approval. And thank you for all the kind words. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Let me see. Now, do we have any comments by supervisors? Yes,
Thank you.
Supervisor Ontiveros.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I just want to state for the record that I did read all of the materials. I know where this property is located at. I have read staff's analysis and I agree with their analysis. I also reviewed the findings of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I am in agreement with their findings. And I think I've been around long enough. You guys probably don't know this, but I was on planning and zoning for 14 years and saw the subdivision ordinance coming through. This is what we hoped for. And so seriously, I just want to tell you that the way that this has been laid out is absolutely beautiful. And I just want to say job well done. It is very easy for me to support this.
All right, thank you for those comments. Are there any other board comments at this time? Okay, in that case, we'll open the public hearing. The public hearing is now open. We will take comments when you are called on to speak. Announce your name and place of residence. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Please make sure that your comments are directed to the topic. Clerk Daly, please explain how those here in person can provide public comment.
Thank you, Chair Vasquez. At this time, if there's anyone here in the room that would like to provide a comment on this public hearing item number 31, you can make your way up to the podium right now. You'll be provided 3 minutes to speak, and you will need to state your name and address for our minutes. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can email a comment to boardcomments@coconino.az.gov, and that will appear in our inbox. And at this time, Chair Vasquez, we do not have anyone here that has made their way to the podium. We do not have any comment cards of anyone that would like to speak, and we do not have anything in our inbox, in the board comments inbox online.
Okay, final call for public comment.
And there are no comments, Chair Vasquez.
Okay, in that case, I am now closing the public hearing. Supervisors, are there any questions or comments regarding the item? Supervisor Ontiveros.
No, Vice Chair, I don't have any. If you are ready, I would like to make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion to adopt the resolution 2025-53 approving a preliminary plat for a 38 lot subdivision on 334.89 acres located 1.5 miles northeast of Mormon Lake. The property is located east of Lake Mary Road and is further identified as parcel numbers 404-18-004, 4-18-003A, 404-18-003B, and 404-18-002B. The property owner is Bass LLC and HML LLC of Phoenix, and the applicant is Thomas Lampo of Norris Design, Tucson. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a
Second.
second by Supervisor Horseman, and we have a motion by Supervisor Ontiveros. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed,
Aye.
please say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
If I may, Chair,
Yes, Supervisor Horseman.
I just would, I'm really anxious to see this as this moves forward. Yeah, as Supervisor Ontiveros said, it's a very interesting design, and very interesting concept. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it as it moves forward, and I'm sure they'll keep us apprised of their progress. So
Thank you. Are there any other comments by board members at this time? All right. Well, thank you and congratulations. Look forward to seeing the project develop and see it as a model for future conservation efforts. Thank you. All right. Now, discussion item number 32, discussion update regarding state and federal legislative or administrative matters. I'll hand that over to our Government Relations Director, Keith Perkis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Nothing to report this evening, but thank you for the opportunity for that particular item.
All right. In that case, are there item number 33, discussion, review, and possible direction regarding Board of Supervisors planning calendar?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I think we'll waive our opportunity to present that as well this evening, given the hour of the evening. And if there's anything you'd like to discuss, please let us know. But as staff, we rest with not giving that presentation this evening.
Okay, thank you. It looks like we are going to go pass on the county manager presentations, item 32, 33, and 34. The last one would be roundtable. Is there a desire to do roundtable tonight, or would the Board of Supervisors like to adjourn at this time?
I would prefer to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn in a second. I don't think we have to vote. We will move, or do we have to vote to move our roundtable to the next meeting? Okay, in that case, thank you everyone for your time tonight. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
thank you.